My child should have never gone through that. It is unacceptable.
An outraged mother after video showed a teacher and aide mistreating her son in a special needs classroom. Tonight, potential new fallout as board members consider firing the district's superintendent. Good evening, I'm Clarice Tinsley. That meeting will be at the Millsap ISD in Parker County. The sheriff's office says Millsap ISD Superintendent Mari Martin tried to cover up abuse cases. She and 2 other educators have been arrested and charged in the case. Fox 4's David Centendry is live. David.
Yeah, Clarice, parents plan to protest here before the meeting, which is going to happen here in about an hour. Of course, we're talking about these ongoing child abuse allegations. 3 educators who have been criminally charged, including the superintendent. Now, 2 of those educators, they are no longer employed by the district. But as of now, the superintendent still has her job. As of tonight, that could change.
Video, first broadcasted by Fox 4, shows a Millsap elementary school educator slapping toward an autistic child, Alex Cornelius, inside his special needs classroom.
I said come here.
Moments later, another educator yells at Alex before repeatedly hitting him with a toy, then throwing the toy at the 10-year-old.
Quit chewing on things.
The incident in February. 2 weeks later, the child's mother filed a report with Parker County Sheriff's Office after the video, recorded by a whistleblower, was shared with her.
This was not handled correctly, and my child should have never gone through that. It is unacceptable.
On Thursday, both educators, teacher Jennifer Dale and paraprofessional Paxton Bean, charged with official oppression. Bean also charged with injury to a child in a different case. We'll discuss that momentarily, but for now, we'll talk about Superintendent Mari Edie Martin, charged with failure to report or intent to conceal.
Instead of taking immediate appropriate action, Dr. Martin assured me that everything would be handled correctly.
Educator Jamie Riggs, who recorded the video and has since left the district, spoke during an emergency school board meeting Friday.
The evidence I had could protect these students, and yet I was being told to destroy it.
An arrest warrant says Superintendent Martin instructed staff to delete video recordings, failed to report child abuse in a timely manner, and lied about making criminal and CPS reports. Riggs, one of 3 paraprofessionals who gave evidence to the sheriff's office. That investigation has uncovered 2 additional alleged victims.
What breaks my heart is that the parents of these children were never informed of the abuse their children suffered. The parents should have been the first to know, yet they were left in the dark.
Bean allegedly punched one of the victims in the nose, which led to a gushing nosebleed. The child's mother also spoke during Friday's meeting.
My son is a kind, loving, and resilient boy, and he deserves to feel safe at school as well as all students.
As for Alex, arrest warrants claim abuse was common, extensive timeouts, inappropriate comments about his private parts, and taunting.
My child can't speak. He can't come home and tell me, Mommy, they hit me, or Mommy, they're mean to me. Like, he's nonverbal.
I said something.
We expect the protest to begin any minute. Again, the meeting is scheduled for 6:30, and they will talk about possibly firing the superintendent. They're also going to be talking about the jobs of the assistant principal and principal over at the elementary school who have been on administrative leave since these allegations came out. But keep in mind, neither of them have been criminally charged, so at this point in time, it's unclear if there is any wrongdoing toward them. For now, Clarice, back to you.